All right, nobody cares. Let's get into it. So, today I wanted to talk about emotional alchemy and the alchemy of energy and turning your pain and your emotions into power, productivity, positivity, positive impact. I'm on the tail end of getting out of a little funk. The first stage of my rut, burnout, as you would say, was me not accepting it. And I was just full of emotions. I was overtired. I was just like, go, go, go. I have all these things I want to do, all these things I'm doing. Turn off your feelings, get into it. Let's go. The problem with that was I became so resentful of my routine. I became resentful and uninspired and unmotivated. Now, discipline beats motivation every single time. So I'm very grateful that I've built that art and skill to be disciplined. But that doesn't mean that going through the motions of my routine and of my things I need to do, that doesn't mean that they didn't get tougher or harder or I felt more friction in them because I was burnt out. So I was doing the things I'm doing and I'm just like resisting it. So I was getting some kind of resistance to the things that I really loved. Rest is not a reward. Resting is a right. And sometimes we can over-rest or under-rest, which can cause imbalance, right? I used to do this thing where I would never, the only time I'd rest would be when I was eating something or at the very last part of my day, good night. That was it. There was no resting. There was no break time. There was no play. There was no laughing. It was just very I started to incorporate some rest because I'm noticing okay, I'm getting friction. I'm obviously something's off inside. So I need to take some time to chill. So I'm resting, and it's just in my head I'm thinking, you're still not burnt out. You're fine. You need a break. But the more I sat with myself and enjoyed my rest, I was yeah, I just can't, I'm feeling even more resistance to going back to the routine. And it's just a cycle I was perpetuating with this denial in my head. And so habits and limiting beliefs and things that had kept me stuck that I'd worked really, really, really hard to let go of and break free from and make a difference in my life, bad habits, limiting beliefs, fear, doubt, all these things kept creeping into my head the more I was resting and it was just harder to come out of the funk. And I was at the gym today and I don't know what it was, but I just, for some reason, I was thinking to myself, I can't even be productive at this point because I'm so focused on how do I get out of this? How do I re-inspire myself? Do I need to listen to different music? Do I need to do something else? I don't understand what this is. I've never been in this weird period of time. I'm always very... It doesn't matter how you feel, you just get through it. You go, go, see the bigger picture. You do what you need to do. You feel how you need to feel, And so I've never been through anything like this specifically. I was at the gym and I'm thinking to myself, I'm what is... So I'm at the gym and I'm thinking to myself, I'm what is a burnout? What happens when something burns out, right? What is a burnout? And so I'm not a science person. I've obviously taken it in school, but I don't remember, I don't know. So I'm looking up what is a burnout? Here was the train of thought. There's power in slowness. There's power in a pause. There's power in fewer words, power of silence, power in perception, power of a slow burn, power in steadiness, and directed focus. And then I thought to myself, drive, hunger, motivation, discipline, they all remind me of like fire. What are the qualities of fire? What does it do? What does it feel like? Because for something to burn, there needs to be fire. And if fire is like the drive, the pushing force, like what is it? And so I wrote down fire is strength, power, light, destruction, heat, creation, intensity, energy release. How does a flame burn? Slow and steady. Flames don't burn out by helping other candles shine. It makes the room shine brighter. And so I thought intensity without directed focus causes burnout. When you're emotional, okay, or if you bottle your emotions are very fluid. They come, they go, they're like water. They're like a water force, very emotional, like that's where you get creativity and like flow and like, and so I was thinking, when you bottle things up and you're very intense and you're very driven, your emotions become ice. They freeze like ice freezes. When you're driven and very emotional, but you repress it, or you kind of lock it in the back, or you don't think about it, you are putting fire to ice. What does that do? Stay with me now. It creates steam. The ice slowly melts, and the fire burns, say it with me now, out. What does this mean? Lots of emotions, loss of control. Focus and drive are not connected. And then I thought, how do you, if you're burning out, how do you create fire again? How do you light yourself? Light yourself back up. How do you reignite that spark in yourself? Because people say they'll be like, you're in a funk, you're in a burnout, just take the energy, take your time, get back to it. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But I thought, for somebody as disciplined and routine and focused and driven and goal-oriented as me, that's not working, obviously. So what do I need to be doing here? And then I searched up on the internet. I'm like, how to make a fire, And then I was also thinking from camping and stuff, how do people light fires? Because not the one. Well, you take the drive, you remember your drive. So that's the fire, the flame. You remember the drive. You remember the hunger. You remember the commitment, the why you do things, the reason, the thing that fuels you and lights you up, the thing that makes you, that pushes you. You take that driving flame force energy, that creation, that life force energy, and you direct it, you focus it, and you ground it. Stay with me now. Why do you ground it? Well, when you light a fire, of course, it needs, oxygen and whatever else it needs, fuel, heat, and oxygen. The internet said to crumple up some paper and light it up. What is paper? Paper is wood. What is wood? What is the earth? What is the earth? The ground. And you take that drive, you take that focus, and you take that energy and you ground it. And that, whether that be you go on walks, you go on a run, you go outside, you eat vegetables, you eat rooted vegetables. You can say whatever you want about my train of thought, I don't care. Maybe you're meditating, you're stretching, you're, journaling, of course. You sit with yourself and you see all the things and the misdirected focus and the things you want to, the fear, the doubt, the this and that, and you sit with yourself and you say no. You say no, and you start to plan, and you start to refocus, and you're saying this, and then you direct focus and ground yourself. What is grounding yourself? Well, it is also doing those things. But it's being humble, it's being grateful, it's being kind, it's being somebody who is understanding, receptive, a listener, somebody who has a lot of integrity and humility and doesn't, let things get to their head. Grounding yourself is also removing your ego. Removing, maybe not completely, but it's in reducing, minimizing the ego you have within yourself, and as much ego as possible to ground yourself. Anyways, on with the video. I was gonna say, some of the wealthiest people, right? They do not feel the need to impress you, to prove themselves, to impress you, to do whatever. They are so content and happy and grateful within themselves. I mean, hopefully they're grateful and humble and kind. And I'm not talking about obviously every wealthy person, but I'm saying maybe a lot of them, a lot of like those people, they already have, the money, the connections, the this, the that. They are just so who they are. A lot of them are just, just chill. And if you think about like earth energy, it's like laying low. Sometimes it has its moments, but you're laying low and you're stoic and it's chill, and it isn't reactive. Like, think about a tree, okay? Trees go through seasons. It needs to have, time to, its leaves come off during the winter, besides like a couple trees, but it needs to have a season like that so that it can come back in the spring and bloom and be so beautiful. And it needs to have a season like that. If you think of even like a pine tree, it all year round, it is grounded in itself. Snow, rain, this, that, it does not care. It is rooted in who it is and how it is, and it is not reactive. It does not fluctuate. It just is what it is. And so when you get to that burnout, you take the fire, you remember your fire, your drive, your motivation, your why, your goals, your dreams, and you direct it and you focus it into grounding qualities. And it can be really uncomfortable, especially after periods of inspiration and creation and being up in the air, and to see your emotions, to see your feelings and your energy, and to evaluate it, and to always evaluate it, and to never just be like, it's whatever, it's fine, it's whatever, it's fine. Oh, like, I'm just going through this right now, it's whatever. If something is inside of you and it's like nagging you and you want to understand, okay, and listen, maybe it's because I'm a Virgo, okay? But not everything is meant to be analyzed and understood. Like, if a snake bites you, you're not going to go to the snake and be like, but why? But why did you do that to me? It just, at that point, it makes no sense. What you're going to do is you're going to tend to the wound and get better. You're not going to go to the snake and ask why it bit you, because that's pointless. Not everything is meant to be analyzed. Not everything is meant to be understood. But when it comes to yourself, your energy, your focus, your drive, and you notice like a change in yourself that you just can't seem to get off or get out of or shake off, you need to think about alchemizing those feelings and turning them into power, into positivity, into productivity, and taking that pain or whatever it is you're feeling and transmute it. Because like I said in a different video, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted, right? And not to be afraid of how you feel, and to not be afraid of doubt, burnout, fear, limiting beliefs. They're only present, like, you only have those things because you want more for yourself, because you're doing more for yourself, because you're, you see a different vision than other people see. Like, those feelings are so normal and they're important. And a lot of the time people get stuck in them and accept them as reality, accept those feelings as is. They'll try something new and have this surge of inspiration, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm scared, nothing's working, I don't see success immediately, whatever. Okay, let me give up. It's in that period of fear, doubt, anxiety, whatever, that you need to sit with that energy. You need to be like, okay, this is the feeling. These are the feelings. How can I change those? Feelings come and go. Actions make you who you are. And it's okay, and trust me, it's all right to have a period of time where you're working through a big emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, whatever change in your life, that your actions may reflect how you're feeling. Like, if you're tired, you're not going to be like, go, 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 go. And sometimes getting out of a funk takes a little longer than you anticipated. But if the funk is bigger, that means it's because the goal is greater, the purpose is greater, the reason is greater, the reward is greater. And one of my favorite creators on the internet, Tyson Liberto, recently made a video. It's like, if your path is harder, it's because your calling is higher. So if you're feeling like feelings you've never experienced, burnout like you've never experienced, changes within yourself, within your attitudes, within your beliefs, and all these like limiting things from your head start popping up, all these fears and anxieties that you've worked so hard to minimize or eliminate or reduce or move away from, have started to creep into your head. It's because you're doing something right, and that's normal. And if you didn't have any of those feelings, number one, would you even be human? And number two, that means what you're doing is easy. If you're doing something easy, that means everybody can do it. And if it was so easy, then you would have it already. How about that? Thank you for listening and being an outlet for me. It's been like, I don't have that many videos, but posting on YouTube has really helped me with my confidence, and has really helped me with my ability to speak, and my ability to share and communicate. So yeah, thank you all so much, and I'm gonna post this right now. Bye.